From here, we want to move on to our core theme today, which is MYOB Advanced, the connected business and the empowered workforce. And as a part of this, we're going to pass over to Susanna shortly, who will be going through Advanced and demonstrating some of the core features within the product that can really help you within your organizations that you can leverage to empower your employees more efficiently and effectively. As a part of that though, Simone has already talked to the concept of a connected business. But really, this is about how do we bring together our systems, our people, and our data, and make meaningful connections between those. Simone talked about the disconnected business, how we take that disconnected business, turn it into a connected business, and we talked about those 4 pillars. The first one being complete control, experiences that matter, real-time insights, and of course, today's topic, the empowered workforce. In terms of the empowered workforce, it really comes down to 3 key points. Firstly, how do we deploy our resources more strategically? How do we get rid of these manual processes, these manual systems, these things that sit outside our core systems and integrate them or make them more efficient and effective? Secondly, how do we empower our people to be more effective with the access to the right data at the right time to help them make the informed decisions that we need them to make? And thirdly, of course, how do we foster a more engaged workforce and a connected workforce that have the right tools to help them do their job more easily? And of course, a lot of that is actually about mobility and how do we give them apps and ability to access data at the point that they need it. So without any further ado, I am going to hand over to Susanna, who's going to take us through a few of those ingredients and a few of those tips, tricks, tools, and techniques that we have in Advanced that you might be able to leverage and use within your organization to empower your employees more effectively.
Thanks a lot, Stephen. Fantastic. That's all working and we can hear your audio.
Excellent. Hi, everyone. Good afternoon. Thank you for joining us today. And thank you, Stephen, for that introduction. And yep, I'm going to be talking about the theme of this user group, which is basically to show you some ways in which the Advanced platform empowers the workforce, and how specifically it can achieve some of those things that Stephen was talking about there, feeling more in control, feeling more connected to your business processes. So I'm going to take you through some everyday features and workflows to showcase the power of the Advanced platform and how it really is becoming, and it already is, a user-centric ERP system. So once the user logs in, they land on the dashboard basically. So the landing page can be tailored per user. On their user profile, you can set what their dashboard landing page is, and you're not limited to having one dashboard. You can have, so if you're wearing many hats within your organization, you can have a range of different dashboards. You can see on the left-hand side here, we've got different data views. I've got, sort of 10 or so dashboards there, but you do have one main one that you land on. The main point to make here is that the dashboard can contain an array of different data presented in a number of different formats. So you can see the examples that I have here. We've got tiles to showcase sort of KPIs that the person is interested in seeing. I've got here current projects, 22 due for billing, purchase orders awaiting approval, how many tenders have I got out there. So that can be tailored to each user depending on what they want to see. I've got access to my sales orders. So you can see here, I've got a listing of all my sales orders that can be filtered to a particular status if need be. You've also got drill through capability. So I'm going to just show you how I can click through to a very relevant customer here. We've got Coles and sales order information here coming through there. So I'll just jump back to the dashboard now. Other pieces of information that you can have on the dashboard, you can have embedded URLs. So you can see here, I've got my CommBank app access to that embedded there. So I can quickly go in and see and check my customer deposits. I can have graphical representations of the information. top 10 projects and having a view of the value of each of those. I can then drill through as well onto the actual project data. If I scroll down here, I've got my approvals. So one of the key features of Advanced is the various approval maps available in the system, and they're function specific. So here I've got approvals of all of the accounts payable documents and purchase orders as well. So you can see this type column here. If I just expand that out a bit, you can see the bills and POs. You can click through. Again, I'll have a look at my Telstra bill. And that takes me through to the supplier. I can also drill through to the transaction from this screen as well if I need to. So you can actually, so that shows me, yep, double clicking there. You can choose to click through to the actual business account or the transaction here. From this screen here, I can then choose to actions approve or reject if I want to. Okay, so when it comes to empowering the user, I guess, yeah, I'm going to step through some of the features. So that first feature really is about the dashboard, giving you access into the information that you need to see real time on the front screen there, and then user specific. So every user can have a different dashboard. Let's go through now and have a look. So James was talking earlier about the generic inquiry screens. So I'm going to take you through what that's all about, and then a practical example of, where can we actually use and have good use of a GI. So I'm going to have a look at all of my customers that are exceeding 90 days. So I can see that on my actual dashboard actually. So I'll just close out of that. So if I go back to my front page here. So if I'm in accounts receivable, for example, it's just loading there. I can see all of my open invoices by age. Okay, so this is, and if I want to, I can click through, and this will take me into a custom written generic inquiry. So very basic, just show me all of the open invoices by period or by age. And I can see here in this particular inquiry, I just want to see those who have exceeded my 90 days payment terms. Okay, so you can see, obviously, demo data, there's quite a lot of those in here. And then what I want to do is also now action these customers and put them on credit hold. So we can use this generic inquiry to review the information, and then we can have a process in the system that basically puts my customers on hold. Okay, so this allows me to prepare the data. So this is another screen that pulls through the information, all of my customers now that are exceeding that 90-day payment term. And then if I import that data, I can see it's successfully processed that and placed all of those customers on hold. So now if I go into my customer 001, for example, I'll be able to see a status there of on hold. Okay. Another application of the generic inquiry screens is the new, I guess, for lack of a better term, we call them pivot GIs. So I've got a really good example here of a project summary by account group. So in this demo site, I'm using the projects module, and I just want to have access and review. I have a snapshot of what's going on with my project. So this is another interactive generic inquiry, and I can see I've got a project in here called Bunnings Sunshine, and I can see the budgeted, any revisions, any actuals, and then the variance. So that's just a snapshot, and then I've got the ability to filter here, and okay, I want to select Coles, and then I'll click on that project and see how that project is tracking. Let's go take that off. Okay, and that's obviously doing that. So you can see that users can create these generic inquiries, and then they've got different ways of displaying, different ways of interacting with those. Okay. All right, so I'm just following the run sheet, so sorry if I'm looking away. The next thing that I want to show is the ability to create screen filters. So most systems, you're accessing data. The data is when you click on, say, the opportunities. So if I now go into my CRM and click on the opportunities, on the landing page, you'll have all my opportunity records and all the different users accessing the system. They're going to want to see different pieces of information. So you can see on my particular screen, I've got additional filters that I can toggle between. So I've got my opportunities, so that will just filter in all the opportunities that have been assigned to me. I can see the opportunity summary, and I can see any new opportunities that have been created. So you can interact with this data and create your filters based on what you want to see. So if you had a team of sales staff and you wanted to see exactly what they are doing, and you want to see all the opportunities assigned to a particular region or a particular work group, you can just jump into this filter area here and then create the actual filter that you want to see on your screen. So you can see you choose the property, you choose the condition, you've got a drop down there, and then you put in the value of what you want to see and then apply. Okay, so the next feature to sort of demonstrate empowering the user is the tasks. So you can actually create tasks in the system against transactions. You can create tasks against the various business accounts. So that's leads. You can create tasks against customers, suppliers. So why don't we go in and create a task against one of our customers. So I might choose, let's go these guys. And on the customer record, there's an activities tab. I can just add a task. And later on in my demonstration, I'm going to show you how this also then appears in the mobile app. So if you're on the go and you want to see what are my tasks for today, working remotely, you can go in and view that information on the mobile app as well. So I'm just going to say payment, for example. And obviously you can fill in all this information, the start date, due date. I might put this as task for Monday. You can put in information, you can have view related activities if you need to, but for now I'm just going to save and close that. Okay. Another thing to point out is the favorites menu. So I've pinned my task list to my favorites. So I can see here, I'm just going to click on my tasks. And there's my task that I had entered against the customer. It's against the customer, so it's tracked against the customer record. Everyone's got visibility. Everyone who's got access has visibility to it. And it's there for all the users to interact with if they need to. Okay. So I now, if there's no questions, I'm going to move into the mobile app. So I'm just going to turn on screen sharing on my phone. So just bear with me for a minute, please. So I'm running an Apple iPhone. I think there is compatibility with Android devices as well. Essentially, I've already logged in, but the login screen is, I might just take you there, is like so. You can have different accounts. So if you did have, you know, a New Zealand instance and an Australian, you can toggle between those. You might enter in your password and log in. So, okay. So I'm just going to run through a few of the features available on the mobile app. So in today's day and age, everyone wants mobility. So MYOB Advanced allows for a lot of their functions that are available on the desktop to be made available inside the mobile app. And if they're not available there natively, it's certainly something the implementing partner can customize for you. So I'm going to start off by everyone's favorite, adding an expense receipt. So, you know, we're all on the go. So let's have a go at adding a taxi receipt. So I'm just going to click on the expense receipts there. Okay. Minimize that. Make that a bit easier. And so there's a list of all of my existing receipts. So the idea is everyone hates doing expense claims, myself included. So we're trying to make this as easy for everyone as possible. So jumping out of a taxi, you want to record your receipt. So you're just going to hit the plus sign at the bottom there. And you're going to enter the details. So I'm just going to put in taxi for meeting. And obviously you put in the details, you put in the date of the transaction, you add it, you'll have a list of expense items that you can select from. I'm just going to put in travel taxis, so that's something that will already be set up. Nothing complex to choose from. You have to put in the amount there, so my one is $17.33. You can assign an employee portion as well if need be. The other nice feature is you can then immediately assign this to a project. So I'm going to search my projects and I'll just allocate it to this project and then assign it to a task. And I'm getting an error message to say my customer's on hold. So I'm going to quickly take them off hold while you bear with me for a second. So hopefully that should fix my project. Just reselect my project. Reselect my. Okay, not happy. Let's try doing this. Okay. Okay, we'll do that. Task, travel, there we go. Okay, so at this point you can assign whether it's billable or not. So that's just that little toggle there. You can enter further details, but I'm then just going to take a photo of my receipt. So here's one I prepared earlier, which I haven't actually claimed yet. Taken the photo and hit next and done and done. And then I'm going to save that. Okay, so it's quite straightforward, as you can see. And obviously throughout the month, you're processing your expense receipts in your app because everyone's very diligent at doing that. And then at the end of the month, you want to claim all of your receipts. So this is really nicely done. So we just hit edit, select the items that you want to claim and then hit claim at the bottom. And it's processed the claim for us there. Okay, so that's there and that goes through the system. That will then go through to finance to approve and then reimburse through the next AP run. Okay. The next feature I want to take you through is approvals via the mobile app. So we saw approvals on the desktop, but there is a whole area for approvals. So you can enable push notifications to get a mobile notification every time you have a transaction to approve if you want to. Some people want that, some people don't want that. So basically, yep, you'll come in, you'll see the transactions you have to approve there. Select the transaction to review, and that will take you through. You can actually see the details. You can edit and put in notes if you want to reject that. But essentially to approve, you can then do a multi-select if you want to, once you've reviewed all of those transactions, and then you just hit the approve button at the bottom and it goes through. Okay, so that can be time cards, as you can see on screen there. That can be purchase orders, bills, expense claims, whatever is under your purview for approval. Okay. The next item to show you will be just basically looking up a customer record in via the mobile app. So particularly for salespeople on the road, they might want to see. So I've got a icon here for business accounts. So I'm just going to select that. Really straightforward. So this is, you know, got all of your live customer information. If you've got access to that, you can see it through here. At the top, we've got a search bar. I'm just going to type in my favorite customer at the moment and hit search. And it brings up anything that returns the keyword for Coles. And then you can click in. And the system will load all customer information. There we go. Okay, so I can see phone number. I can actually dial that number if I want to. I can see the address details. And then I can see any activities assigned to that customer, opportunities assigned to that customer. So quite a lot of information available there. Okay. I can also see, as I said before, a list of all of my tasks. So there's that follow up on customer payment task at the bottom there. I can do that on the go if I need to, and then I can also set it to complete at the bottom there if I need to as well. So I've completed that. And then that will go through back into the ERP, back in against the customer record. Okay, the next thing is just again we sort of talked about the screen filters earlier. So when we set up our own filters, we can also see that information on the actual mobile app. So the filters that I created against my opportunities screen, I can also see coming through. If I click on there, I can see my opportunities, their new opportunities. So those are the filters that were set up on my actual desktop version. So that's also a nice feature so that the user only needs to set it up in the one place, then they can go to the mobile app and have the same access, same settings, and not having to duplicate what they've done. Okay, so I think the last thing that I wanted to showcase was a new feature. We've got the employee self-service has been released. I think James was talking about that earlier. And just wanted to show you how an employee would go about making a leave request now via a mobile application. So what I'm going to do is just sign out of here because I've got to access a different tenant. So I'm just going to go into my payroll as someone named Pam. Pam's going to enter her password. Logging in there. Okay, so you can see in this environment, I've got one extra icon at the top left-hand corner here for self-service, okay? So I've got a couple of things set up here to view details and my leave, and obviously this can be further configured if need be. I'm just going to click on leave, and then I get the option to see my leave balance, make a request, projected leave balance, and then view all of my current leave requests available in the system. So if I click onto that, I can see what is there currently. There we go there. So paid, whether it's been paid or approved or submitted. So that's pretty nice to see there. But I want to make a request. So coming into this screen here, entering the leave type. So it automatically puts in the employee, and I'm going to choose annual leave. You enter your start date. So I'm just going to make this 28th of April, say, and just for a day. And then you might want to put in any comments, but once that's done, you can save it at the top there, or you can submit it for approval. I'm just going to hit submit. and hopefully that goes through. Yep. And then I'll be able to see that on the bottom of my screen there. There's my 28th of April, and we'll leave submission request. So yeah, those are some of the features of the mobile app. Just making life easier for the end user. We're getting a lot of interest on the mobile app these days. So yeah, stay tuned. I'm sure more and more features will be released. But yeah, that's it from me. Thanks everyone. I might hand back over to Chris.
Thank you very much, Susanna. Some really interesting tips and tricks there. Yeah, we're really noticing a big pickup in the mobile usage, and it's really a full-featured application. There's also a lot of stuff in there that we don't have time to cover off everything. And if there's functionality you want on the app that isn't displayed, there's also the ability to publish out additional functionality to the mobile apps. The other thing worth mentioning as well is at the moment, MYOB are offering the addition of 300 employee users for $179 a month, which should enable you to deploy out the employee functionality via the mobile app to everybody in your organization. At the moment, it's a limited time offer, but anyone who does take up that licensing will get that ongoing. So it's a really fantastic opportunity to, empower your workforce with that mobile functionality. And that employee license does have access to that expense management functionality that Susanna demonstrated. And next up, Stephen Friend's just going to run through some more information about the MYOB Advanced releases and some important compliance and industry updates as well. So over to you, Stephen.